Welcome to the Analytics Maestro demo. In this demo, I want to show the power and flexibility of Analytics Maestro with a focus on 1, the ability to access the information you need, number 2, building powerful reports and dashboards, and number 3, allowing decision makers to act with confidence. So this demo requires me to wear a couple of hats. An executive that needs access to summary level detail of KPIs typically presented as a dashboard. And also an analyst whose responsibility is to build reports and analyze information, to drill down, to drill through, and to slice and dice the data. So let's begin. I'm a CEO, and my company just implemented Analytics Maestro after many years of manual processes around reporting. There was never any time for analytics because data was not accessible to my analytics department unless I got IT involved. And also, we didn't have a user-friendly tool that the business users can use to access the information. We had a query tool that nobody really used because it required technical knowledge of the database structure. And so because our IT department does not have the time to build these reports, we ended up building manual processes that seemed to get worse each month as the business grew and therefore our data grew. So because of these shortcomings, our month-end process was hectic. Long hours, a lot of versions of the same data, but the worst part is I had no confidence in what we were presenting. With Analytics Maestro, I now have access to dashboards that present exactly what I want. Here's my financial dashboard showing me revenues, expenses, and net income with an actual to plan comparison by my different profit centers. I've got this with month-over-month analysis and year-over-year comparative analysis. I've got some balance sheet KPIs and an income statement KPIs. The great part is that this is very customizable and easy to build. It's also very interactive. So if I want to look at our current period, which is period 6, all I need to do is double-click on the full year filter and select period 6. I instantly get my period 6 activity or month-to-date results. If I want to look at our period 6 year-to-date, again, I just double-click the filter and select my period balance. I can do the same on my years and select whatever other year I want to look at. These filters are completely customizable. I can have it by regions, by divisions, by product, or by customer. This dashboard also allows me to look at lower levels of detail. So for example, if I want to look at transactional level detail that made up my corporate actual expenses, all I need to do is double-click on the number, click OK, and I instantly get the transactional level detail that made up that number. So this dashboard actually presents something very interesting. If I look at my online sales, it looks like that my actual of $898,000 in my expenses completely out of line with my plan, creating a huge variance on my expenses, which therefore falls into my net income. I need some more information around what makes up this huge negative variance in my expenses for my online sales. So I'm going to get my analyst to investigate the information or the data behind this result. As an analyst, I now have a tool that allows me to get at the information without IT support. Because it's in Excel, I can use Excel's flexibility and Analytics Maestro power to build any type of report. So if I want to analyze what's happening in the online sales department, I can start from a blank sheet to easily build my report. So first, I'm going to go to the Analytics Maestro toolbar, click on Report Designer, and connect to the database. Once I've connected, I see all the different data elements that I can now use to build my reports. So let's start with a month-over-month profit and loss statement. In this case, I want my accounts defining my rows, so I drag and drop into my rows, take my months and drag and drop it to my columns for a month-over-month report. I'm also going to set some filters. I'm going to drag and drop my entities, my years, my versions, and I'll also take these measures. The next step is I need to be a bit more specific within each one of these dimensions. So a double click on the dimensions opens it up and allows me to select the different views. In this case, what I want to look at this net income view from this reporting view. I'm going to drag and drop that to my selected members area and get rid of the default and click OK. I'm going to make one more selections on my versions. I'm going to select my actual and click OK. Once I get out of Report Designer, you can see I get the starting point to building this report. The next thing I want to look at is drill downs. So whether I'm on a row or a column, a drill down allows me to look at lower levels of detail. So if I'm on net income and I double click to drill down, I get the details that make up my net income. Similarly, I can drill down on my net sales or my expenses. And I instantly get what is more of a presentation style report. I can continue to drill down to look at lower levels of detail. So if I want to see the account numbers that make up my operating expenses, I just need to double click and see that detail. I can also zoom back up. Similarly, a double click on my full year gets me the quarters, and a double click on the quarters gets me the individual months. So you can see with a few double click actions, I already have a month over month profit and loss statement. I'm going to try to clean this up a bit. I don't want period 0 on the report, so I can just use Excel to delete it. Or if I don't want my quarters on the report, I can simply select them and use Analytics Maestro's isolation action to remove those members. And I instantly just get the 12 months and the full year. I'm going to continue to format this report a bit. In report options, I'm going to use the suppress zeros. Once I click OK, it removes all the line items that had no values. I'm going to now filter to really what I want to look at. So on my all entities, I'm going to double click and select my online sales, which is what I'm focused on. Similarly, I want to look at my 2015 data, so I'm going to select that and filter. With Analytics Maestro, you can use Excel's formatting at any point in time to format a report. Or you can use Analytics Maestro's formatting sheets to format the reports. Using the format sheet, I instantly get more of a presentation type report, which is also interactive. So if I want to see what makes up my operating expenses, I just need to double click and get the detail behind that. Or if I want to have my plan data, I just double click, select my plan, and I instantly get my plan data. But this exercise is not about building formatted reports, so what I'm going to do is get rid of that formatting and continue my analysis. So let's focus back on our actual data. And really what I'm interested here is this expense line, because that's where my variance was. So I'm going to go back to the Analytics Maestro toolbar, on the isolation, just keep on that member, and then drill down to get its detail. Now this doesn't really help me much, because what I want is a year-over-year actual to plan comparison. So I'm going to continue to slice and dice. I'm going to go to Report Designer, drag my month, make it a header, take my versions and my years and make it a column. I'm going to double click to select what I want, so in this case 2014 and 2013 on my years. And on my versions, I want my actual, but I also want my plan and my plan to actual comparison. Once I click now, I completely get this report reorganized to help me identify what I want. I'm going to make one more selection here. Because I'm looking at period 6, I'm going to double click to filter back to period 6. And I'm also going to look at my year-to-date balance. So this report sort of helps me identify what's going on here. And it looks like within the marketing account, there's a huge variance in 2015, but it's also consistently occurring in 2014 and 2013. So there must be something going on in this account. I'm going to drill down on marketing to get to the individual account level. In this case, there's only one, so I'm just going to keep on that account. I'm going to continue to slice and dice to see if there's any other entities involved in this variance. So I can go back to Report Designer to slice and dice, or I can just swap these dimensions directly on the Excel sheet. In this case, what I'm doing is I'm making my entities a column dimension. I'm going to zoom back up to get all the entities and do a drill down to get to the lower level entities. Now what I've done is I've isolated that variance to the individual account and also to the individual profit centers or entities that make up my company. I can apply some conditional formatting for some visual clues, or to highlight this information with a visual, in this case I'm stop lighting, and I'll copy this format for all the different variance columns. So it looks like what's happening here is that my online sales, which has a negative variance in this marketing expense, there's a corresponding positive variance for my marketing department. And again, this is consistently happening over the last 3 years. Now, I didn't see this prior to this because I didn't have Analytics Maestro, but with Analytics Maestro, this becomes quite obvious. I'm now going to just format this report and send it off to my manager to take action. Again, I'm going to use Analytics Maestro formatting sheets, which instantly formats the report to more of a presentation style report. I can add more graphs, more charts, or even more comments. Once I save this report, I email it to my manager. They'll get it exactly the way it looks and then be able to take action. In addition to analytics, Analytics Maestro helps me with our month-to-month reporting. Here's a year-over-year actual to plan comparison of our profit and loss statement. I built this report one time, and each month all I need to do is to come in here and to update it. So let's say again I want to look at our period 6 results. All I need to do is double click on the full year, go to the quarter 2, select period 6, and it instantly updates to period 6. If I want this profit and loss statement for the different entities, all I need to do is again select it, filter it, and look at it by the different entities. One of our biggest challenges each month is creating a forecast report. But with Analytics Maestro slicing and dicing capabilities, creating forecast reports is really easy. This is a month-over-month report, but it's really only focusing on my actual. I can convert this to a forecast report simply by dragging and dropping actual to period 1 and then using member selector to change this version on the fly. So I'm going to select plan basis here, refresh the report, and what I get instantly is 5 months of actuals and 7 months of plan for a 5+7 forecast. But in this case, of course, I'm in period 6, so I want a 6+6 forecast. All I need to do is take this plan basis, drag and drop it above period 7, refresh the report, and I instantly get a 6+6 forecast report, which I can, of course, filter to any one of the entities. If you want more information about Analytics Maestro, please email us at sales@centage.com or visit our website at www.centage.com. Thank you.